financial fraud. Okay. And just want to take the opportunity to thank everyone this morning. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule this morning to join us. I am a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and the Frederick County Alumni Chapter, and a happy participant and happy co-chair of the Economic Development Committee. So welcome members as well. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Ms. Kalia Grant and thank her for being our guest speaker this morning. Ms. Grant and I go back a long time now. I've known her since she was about 10 years old. And she is now a wonderful mother of two children, two beautiful children, a devoted wife, a devoted daughter, and a wonderful friend. So I'm so excited about this opportunity. She is willing to speak for us. She is passionate about banking, passionate about the field of banking and fraud in particular. So I know that we're gonna leave here with some good tips and good things to know and how to protect ourselves from scammers and fraud. So without further ado, I'll welcome my good friend and little sister, Kalia.
Thank you, Carlene. Thank you so much to Carlene and the Frederick County Alumni Chapter for giving me this opportunity, which is actually my very first speaking engagement. And hopefully this will bring about many more opportunities for me. I'm blessed to be here. I'm happy to see everyone. And I just hope you all enjoy. Grab a pen and paper. I'll have some good tips and some advice for you to take away and use in your daily lives. So with that being said, let's get ready and get in the know. So first we have, what is bank fraud? Bank fraud is any illegal act that involves the use of deception to obtain money or other property from a financial institution or banks and their depositors, meaning to be dishonest with the financial institution and their members or customers. Which brings me to a very important keynote regarding our elders. Financial abuse of an elder, which in banking terms, we call it elder abuse. Elder abuse is a fraudulent or improper use of a senior's money, property, or assets. And the abusers in elder abuse can be anyone, family, caregivers, friends, neighbors, strangers, etc. And we have seen episodes from all of these abuser types, caregivers, family, everyone. Seniors are prime targets. They mainly because they can be vulnerable, and also because many people will think that a senior has a significant savings. So because of that, they're easy targets. Therefore, for an example, using your grandparents or client's card to make transactions without them knowing is a criminal offense. All bank fraud is a criminal offense, and when pursued, you can be prosecuted. This, for example, buying games on your grandparents' phone or asking grandma, hey, can I use your card to buy a shirt? But then you buy the shirt and then you go and buy more and grandma isn't aware of that. Or we've also seen instances where caregivers will use their clients' cards or send themselves cash apps without their client's permission. And that is a criminal offense. Also, always monitor and pay close attention to your loved ones' accounts, especially our elders, and make sure that they understand to never, ever give anyone their account information, their bank card information, in person or via telephone. Excuse me. For example, we've seen a lot of elders become scammed by the tax scam where they call them and tell them that they owe so much money in taxes and they're going to come and take their house, or they're going to come and take their car and they need to go put money on a card and give it to them in order to cease from them going to jail, or that's a popular scam. So again, please make sure that your elders especially know, never give your information out. The bank, credit union, we will never call and ask you for your card information, your login information, or anything, because we have it. That which brings us to our, oh, I'm sorry, are there any questions regarding the elder abuse? Okay.
Yes, Ms. Grant, can you speak to situations where it may not be a phone call, but perhaps an email or a text message, and how elders might be able to distinguish between what is real and what is fraudulent? Are there any clues when you're getting emails or text messages that they can look for?
Okay, now, normally in the banking world, our number one clue is when someone is rushing you, or they become agitated because you're not giving the information fast enough, or simply if they're asking you for your information. The credit union or the bank, we have your card number, we have your login information, so we will never ask you for that information. So I would say the top clue is, number one, if you're asked for your information, because they can't get into your account or anything without having your information. So they're going to ask for your information, as well as they're going to rush you, give attitude of that nature, because they're trying to hurry up and get what they need from you. Any more questions on that one?
If you
Okay.
have any more questions, please put the questions in the chat, and we can move forward with the presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Now this brings us to next, which brings us to scammers and how scammers can get your information. Lots and lots of people don't know. Never log into public Wi-Fi and then go and check your bank account or send a Cash App or a Venmo or PayPal. When you're logged into public Wi-Fi, for instance, at Target, Walmart, Starbucks, lots of people use Starbucks. The scammers can tap into the malware and get your information through public Wi-Fi. And that's how a lot of the scam is happening these days, through public Wi-Fi. So never log in to do things such as log into your account, send money via Cash App or Venmo, etc. Another way they can get info is by customers and members contacting customer service numbers that they're getting off Google. For example, Cash App. Cash App does not have a telephone number for you to contact them and speak to anyone about anything. Cash App, again, does not have a telephone number for anyone to contact them. In order to contact Cash App to dispute anything, you must log into your Cash App and choose the support option and send them an email, and then they will email you back. As well as Amazon. Amazon doesn't have a number. If you Google Amazon or Cash App, the tricky part is there's going to be a telephone number. And if you call that number, they're going to answer as Cash App or as Amazon. They're not Cash App or Amazon. And lots of people are getting scammed by this these days. So that's why I'm putting emphasis on it. When you call the Amazon, what they'll do is they'll sympathize with you. They'll act like they're so concerned that, your money was taken, or you need a refund and didn't get your package. And what they'll do is they'll ask you to go to the store and get a card for the amount that you're looking for to get a refund. And then they'll ask you to call them back and give them that card information in order for you to get a refund. While you're doing that, they're taking your money. Key point of that is because you willingly giving the information. If you contact your financial institution and try to dispute it, you're going to run into a problem because you gave the information. So it's very important to never contact the numbers for Cash App or Google on, Cash App or Amazon on Google. For example, I had a friend who was in the store. Quick example: she was in the store, and she needed to check her balance. She logged into her account under Target's or the outlets web public Wi-Fi. Just that quick, as she logged in to check her balance, before she got to the door to leave the store, her fraud department was contacting her, asking her, did she make a transaction in somewhere that she was nowhere near? Just that quick, because she logged in over public Wi-Fi, the scammers got her information and already attempted to make a transaction.
So Ms. Grant, let me just ask, is it, if you have to do that, that situation where you have to check your account, should you just use your data from your electronic device or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can use your, like you said, your data from your phone or your tablet or whatever you have. You can use your internet service from there. Just don't log into the free Wi-Fi. Okay, so there's also something called text spoofing, and that's when a fraudster will send a text message pretending to be from your bank's security department, asking for you to verify a transaction that you completed. Now, with financial institutions, we do have third-party companies who are our security department that sends out text messages, but we just they'll just ask, did you do the transaction? Yes or no. If you don't respond within a certain amount of seconds, they'll block your card. And then you'll have to call back later on, verify transactions, and then your card will be on block. With the text spoofing fraudsters, they're going to send you a text message, but majority of the time is not from a transaction that you just did. We're going to ask you about a transaction that you just literally completed or attempted to complete. So that's how you can determine. If you don't feel comfortable knowing that it's actually your security department, you can always just contact your bank or financial institution and verify it that way and go through them. And even after hours, security will still pick up for you. Are there any questions on public Wi-Fi or logging into your accounts or scam or spoofing, text spoofing?
There is one question in the chat. Would you recommend using your VPN if you're at a hotel?
Yes, you can use your VPN. Just don't use the hotel. Just don't do it on the hotel's free Wi-Fi. How they give you the free card saying this is our free Wi-Fi. Don't put in their login and password and check anything under theirs. Okay, so this brings us now to, let's see, debit and credit card, fraudulent and non-fraudulent activities. So with disputes on a credit and debit card, you have fraud and you have non-fraud card hurdle disputes. I'm going to tell you the difference between fraud and non-fraud. Fraud is when you have never, ever done any type of transaction or business with the merchant. Non-fraud is when you have done business with the merchant and you probably didn't give them authorization to complete a transaction, but a transaction went through. For instance, let's say Walmart.com. You've done transactions with Walmart, but you didn't authorize one that went through. A lot of times we have members and customers that call in and say, hey, this is fraud. I didn't allow that. I didn't tell them they can take that. Because you have worked with them, this merchant in the past, is not considered as fraud. It's considered non-fraud because you have worked with them in the past. So if a merchant debits your account and you didn't authorize it, you will call in and say, hey, I need to place a non-fraud cardholder dispute. With the dispute process, this is a very important note here for everyone to remember. With the dispute process, you have 60 days, and this is any financial institution, this is by law. You have 60 days from the date the transaction appears on your statement to place a dispute. I'll say that again. You have 60 days from the date the transaction appears on your statement to place a dispute. We, the financial institution, we have up to 15 days to provide a provisional credit if you're eligible. Now I say if you're eligible because everyone does not receive an immediate provisional credit. If we need additional information, such as sometimes we need a police report, sometimes we need to know if you reached out to the merchant, which is always, that's always the first question. So to kill two birds in one stone before you call and place a non-cardholder dispute, always reach out to the merchant first and try to resolve it with the merchant, because that is the first question that your financial institution is going to ask you. And if you have not reached out to the merchant, that's where they're going to direct you first. So it's best to just go ahead and try to resolve it with your merchant. If you're unable to, then contact your institution and place a dispute. A dispute investigation can take up to 120 days for the investigation to be completed. Once the investigation is completed, you will receive in the mail, you will receive a final letter with the outcome of your dispute. If you won your dispute, great, the funds will not, they're now permanent. If you lose your dispute, we will give you 10 days from the date of the letter notifying you that in 10 days we will take the credit back. Lastly, always make sure that when you contact your financial institution, that you, if you know the individual who may have completed the transaction, or you don't know them, always be clear. Because if you do know who completed a fraudulent transaction on your account, we will request a police report. And in that police report, you will have to list the individual's name and prove that you're pressing charges before we can give any credits or move forward with your dispute. Okay. Do we have any questions on the dispute process?
Well, we have some questions, not on the dispute process per se, but we do have a question that says, just to clarify, are you saying never to use a hotel VPN, or do not use it to share financial information? That's one question.
I would say on the safe side, don't use anything associated with the hotel if you're doing financial, checking your balance or anything, because that puts a risk at a fraudster or scammer getting your information. So if you need to check your balance or anything, I would say use it on your phone, use your own internet, or I wouldn't use anything associated with a hotel or a public location.
Okay. There's another question that says, can someone else add a VPN on your cell phone without your knowledge?
That is a good question. I'm not sure on the technical side of the phone, if someone can add a VPN onto your device. That part, I'm not exactly sure about that part, as far as if people can add things onto your, I know they can add malware and they can tap into your malware and add it to their computer or things like that, but I don't know if someone can actually go on your phone unless they have, I know there's an app that I use for the VPN for work, and I have to download it, but I have to get permission from my job. So I'm not sure if someone can just go on your phone and add their own.
Oh, okay. There is one more question in the chat. Should you reach out to the merchant first if the card has been misplaced or lost versus contacting the bank first?
No, as soon as you realize that you have lost or misplaced your card, definitely contact your financial institution right away so that we can shut the card down in case it gets in the hands of the wrong individual. If you misplace it, a lot of financial institutions have a feature on their online banking where you can temporarily freeze your card. Now, when you're temporarily freezing your card, anything that's automatic that comes out is not going to stop that. It's still going to allow anything automatic, but it will stop any transactions at a store or any other random purchases, but it won't stop automatic transactions that you already have set up. So you can always go on the website on the online banking and freeze your card temporarily and see until you check in and see if you can find it, and if you can't find it, or if it's been lost, always, always, always contact your financial institution right away so that we can go ahead and stop that card.
Great information. We have another question.
Okay.
If a child inadvertently charges to your card and the merchant will not refund nor cancel the transaction, will the bank require a police report against the child?
Unfortunately, yes, because you know who made the transaction. And that's where I educate members daily, trying to explain it to them. It's the same as if I go in the store and I make a transaction and I lose my money. I want my mom to give me my money. It's the same as putting the bank responsible for a loss. So it's not the bank's responsibility to cover losses, because that's to us. We've seen it. Like, I know Google for sure. Google and Amazon are very good with giving refunds back. But unfortunately, if you call and you say, hey, my grandchild purchased, because we've seen it. We've seen kids purchase, all you see is Google, 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 Google about 50 times. Even my son did it to me before. And more than likely, if you contact Google, PlayStation, or whomever, they will give you the funds back. But if you contact the credit union and let us know that your child made the transactions, unfortunately, we're not going to take that loss, and we are going to ask for a police report for whomever.
Do any of the facilities like Google and Amazon have the option to create a quote unquote kid account so that you can see a deliberate amount of money in the account, and then there are protocols in the background where the adult attached to the child with the account can see the purchase as it's being made?
There are features. I think it's more so through I know for PlayStation and through my Apple iPhone, I can monitor my child's activity. And when I set up the PlayStation and Google, there are features saying, do you want permission sent to a parent before purchases are allowed to be made? And it will send a text message to your phone asking you for permission every time that child attempts to make a purchase. It also asks you if you want it to be for free or paid transactions, and you can set it up for both, or you can set it up just for paid purchases. But yes, there are features for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's all of the questions right now we have in the chat. Oh, hold on, we just got another one. On Amazon, I get alerts, but yeah, you can stop it unless you prevent them from using Amazon Fire Stick. Amazon doesn't make it easy to cancel either. So it's sort of a sharing of knowledge there. So that's helpful to know. Thank you.
Right. Now, I have seen where When I say Amazon is good with giving refunds, I'll say majority of the time they will give refunds. Myself personally, I have had instances where I contact Amazon and they'll say, "Oh, we're going to send this over to another department because they have to give the refund," and someone will call you and no one ever calls me. So there are times where it may be, a challenge to get the refund through Amazon, but I've seen more of them giving the refunds than it being a challenge. But anytime you have a issue with getting a refund from a merchant, then just call us. We just want you to try to resolve it with them first. We have to give them the chance to correct their mistake first.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So next we have auto pay. And the question is auto pay helpful or is it hurtful? Auto pay is helpful when you want to organize your bills, keep track of your balance so that you don't overdraft. It can be hurtful because this is also another key point that y'all may want to take note of. Visa, MasterCard, and Discover, they all provide a service to their vendors in which allows their merchants to obtain your new card numbers so they may continue to bill your account. For example, if you get a new card and a new card number, and you don't want Verizon, you got it because you don't want Verizon to be able to continue to automatically bill your account. Because of this feature, if you get a new card, you're set up for auto pay, we're going to automatically update the auto pay merchants that you work with your new card information. So they'll still be able to go and automatically debit your account. In order to stop that, and if your financial institution does participate in this feature, the only way to stop it is you have to ask your financial institution to opt you out of this feature. We don't automatically opt you out. You have to ask to be opt out. So that's a good point to take back and ask your financial institution, hey, did you participate in automatically giving my new card information or my new expiration date to merchants that I have set up? If they say yes, you can ask them to opt you out and then they'll go ahead and opt you out of it. A lot of people aren't aware of that feature within the bank and credit union. And do we have any questions regarding that vendor information or opting out through your bank with your vendors or your merchants?
How can we tell if information was passed on?
You can tell because they'll actually still be debiting your account. I had someone call and literally lay me out because she felt like the credit union just gave out her information and I got a new card. So how are they still debiting my account? I got a new card. Because you were set up on auto pay, ADT is still we're going to give them the information and they're still going to debit your account. This is also hurtful because sometimes when you cancel subscriptions, the merchants say they canceled it, but then you see you're still being billed. And that's also a hurtful feature for that because they'll still be able to, we'll still update the information. And so it's best to just ask your financial institution if they participate and if so to opt you out of that feature.
What about the safety of app links like Credit Karma or Mint?
Are you asking if they have this feature or?
If they have information that will help with opting out or being aware of what's happening within your account through your bank and all.
Now, they don't have access to your account. It's just the card information being updated.
Okay, but they're safe to use?
Yes, I use Credit Karma myself.
Oh,
I use Credit Karma all the time. Now, I will say that Credit Karma, your credit score is not always accurate. I will share that. It's not always accurate. So you may want to have another backup way of verifying what your credit report is, but it is safe to use. I do disputes all day, every day. That's what I do. Fraud and debit card and credit card disputes every day. And I can say that Credit Karma, or I haven't had any disputes come through for those. I can tell you the top places that I've had disputes come from um, is Best Buy. There was a scam through Best Buy, but they have gotten a handle on it, and we were able to create rules. When there are glitches, or when there are this big companies being hit by fraud, we're able to look at some of the fraud transactions and create rules, and that will block the fraudsters out. So we do have like a back end where we looking into things and are able to block and stop. Another one is Fashion Nova. We've recently been getting a lot from Fashion Nova online clothing store, where people aren't receiving their, saying they're not receiving their packages, or they're being double charged. Or so anytime you don't receive a package or you're double charged, first always contact the merchant and then contact us. Now, if you have a package delivered and it's taken off your porch, and you say, hey, it's showing delivered, but it was taken off of my, off of my porch. That is one that's takes a little while to, because we have to do a lot of investigation for that. Because of course, when we go back to UPS or FedEx or Amazon, they're going to have proof that they delivered the package. So the investigation for that takes a little longer. So if you do have that happen to you, make sure that you dispute it right away.
so what can you do to prevent or to help safeguard you from that dispute? Just
If you have a Ring camera or a
oh,
camera
okay.
and you can see someone take the package off of your porch, or if you can provide that footage to show that maybe the package was never really delivered.
Yeah,
Um, any evidence that you have will be helpful and send to us.
thank you.
Do we have any more questions?
Well, that's all that I see so far in the chat room.
Okay. Well, that actually concludes my presentation that I have on financial fraud. I hope that this was helpful and enhanced your knowledge on bank fraud, and also gave you some key points that you can use in your daily lives. Um, I have given my contact information in case anyone want to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me, send me an email. I love, love, love fraud and love educating on fraud. I can talk about it all day. So, and we have a lot of people who, just know swiping, swiping, swiping your card, but you don't actually know how it works in the banking world or the back end.
Yeah.
So just please never give out your information to anyone. If they call you or anything, never give out your information. I see it a lot.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Grant. Thank you for all of the information that you provided us today. I'm sure we're all very grateful for all of the information that you have shared, and we're going to take that knowledge with us now. And I think we feel a little more comfortable about this world of the internet and using online sources, and because we're in this virtual environment, but we will be more cautious with what we do with our information, because our information is precious. So thank you again for being our speaker for today. As a token of our appreciation, we have a little gift for you in your email, or you will have it in a couple of seconds, just to say thank you for being part of our economic development fraud workshop for today. And you're getting a lot of accolades in the chat room. This is very valuable information. So thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone who have participated today in our workshop. We have, I'm going to post real quickly a survey that if you have a couple of minutes, please take time and share your thoughts in our survey. And if Carlene, or I'm going to turn it back over to the co-chair. I am Lily Greenlee. I'm the other co-chair for Economic Development Committee. And I also want to thank our committee members for helping put this presentation together. We're working hard, and we're working hard for Delta. We're working hard for everyone to get everyone on the same page, or just a little bit wiser on how to go about their day and take care of their money and their life and finances. So with that being said, I ramble and I'm going to stop. I'm going to pass it back over to Carlene.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kalia. Great information, a great presentation. You still had a few questions in the chat, and I'm thinking we'll get those to you, and then we can present them at our next meeting. And
Okay.
if that's okay with everyone. Okay, all right. Final words is just thank you for being a part of our presentation today. Thank you for your willingness. Thank everyone, the source and our guests who joined us this morning. Thank you for your time, and have a safe weekend and week. So thank you, everyone. Okay. Kalia, are you going to stay on for a little while? If there are any questions, if you want to hang around to ask us some questions, we'll still be on the call for a few more minutes if you want to ask more questions. Otherwise,
about is PayPal, is it safe? How safe is PayPal actually?
PayPal it's a good feature to use, but again, just like any other Cash App or anything, everything has its risks for fraud. I can say I haven't had much disputes for fraud for PayPal when people are sending money to each other. We're mainly getting a lot of when merchants are using PayPal and people are purchasing the merchandise, and they're saying, I'm not receiving the merchandise. That's where I see a lot of disputes for PayPal, but it's not an alarming amount. Cash App is the number one. I have Cash App disputes all day, every day. Make sure when you're sending money to someone that you're sending it to the correct Cash App. That's important, because if you send it to the wrong Cash App, majority of the time, and I have not seen anyone honestly give the refund back, and then you've lost your money, because we can't take the loss for that dispute because it was your accident. You sent it to the wrong person.
Would you recommend Zelle?
I recommend Zelle and Venmo. I have not had but maybe one dispute for Venmo, and that was a personal dispute between two people. So I would say that Venmo and Zelle are the safest ones. Zelle, I don't recall seeing any disputes for Zelle. And when I say that, I see a lot of disputes every day. Every day I print a report and I have to work at least 50 to 60 accounts per day for disputes. So for me not to see many Zelle or Venmo, I would recommend using them any day over Cash App.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Grant. That was very helpful. And thank you, Sarah Carter, for opening it up for questions. And I appreciate the extra time. I did have an additional question, and sort of goes along with that last statement that you mentioned about when individuals do something, just their own decision in terms of being scammed. I recall hearing on the news, I'm going back to the senior citizens content that you shared earlier. And I don't know if address this topic. If you did, please excuse the duplication. But I remember seeing some news reports where some senior citizens were asked to go to the store and buy Visa cards or gift cards, and then send them in as a form of payment. And of course, we see it as a scam, but they did not. So my question is, when they do that, will the bank assist them in refunding them monies that they have lost? Or is that another situation where, well, you did it of your own accord and so sorry?
Yeah, unfortunately, because they went to the store, purchased the card, came back and provided the card information, that is not a loss that the bank or financial institution is willing to take. Um, so unfortunately, that is a loss that they will suffer.
And
That
is that the same even if they are able to get a police report? Because I did hear you say something about a police report. Or is that only when other individuals are in the card?
a police report, we ask that when you actually know the individual, you know their name, you know their location, you know who actually completed the fraud or scam, or you actually know them. So a police report in that aspect will not stand, because you don't have any information on who the scammer is. You don't know their name, you don't know their location, and because the key word is willing, because you willingly went and gave them the information. That's why we tell them we would never ask for your information. We will never send you somewhere to get a card. And that's a number one red flag that should speak with their elders. So I understand, because they're also telling them, they'll have like their grandson's name and they'll say, we have your grandson. If you don't pay, go get a card and pay us this money. We're going to do something to your grandchild. And that instinct, the best thing to do is to contact your family member, contact them and try to make sure that they're okay. They know that seniors are vulnerable, and anything that's going to put fear in them, they know that that's how they're going to get through and get what they want done. So that's why it's always good to monitor your loved one's accounts and check it, see what's going on, and talk to them and make sure they're not giving anyone information, because sometimes in just random conversation, grandma will say, yeah, someone called me today and they said that I got to pay these taxes, and that's a red flag right there. IRS isn't going to call you. Anyone that tells you to go somewhere and put money on something is automatic. That's a scam.
We have a question from Kathy Brooks.
I actually didn't. You said from Kathy Brooks?
Yeah,
no, I actually didn't.
Okay.
Oh, no. But
there was a pop-up, sorry, Kathy, that your hand was raised. So I put it in there for you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I apologize. But I do have a question. You mentioned that the bank will sometimes call you to determine whether or not there was fraudulent activity on your card. Was that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, they will send you, if you give them your number, then more than likely we send a text message. They're going to send you a text message and say, hey, did you complete this transaction? And tell you like a minute or two, you have a certain time frame to respond, and you'll just say yes or no. If you don't respond quickly, they will block your card. So if you're out shopping and you don't respond to that message, when you go in the next store, you're not going to be able to use your card, because they are going to block it to make sure that there's no one who's gotten your information and trying to fraudulently use your card.
Okay, I'm glad to know that, because I would have never responded to that thinking that if the bank is texting me, that's a fraud, that's a scam. So I just would have never even responded, and then realized that my card has been now frozen and have to go through that process. So the two-part question, number one, would there be somebody available 24/7 to unblock it? Because if this is on a Saturday and this happens, I don't respond because I'm thinking that it's a scam. Would I have to then wait until Monday to be able to resolve it, to have my card unblocked? And I forgot the other part of it, but that's the main part.
No, our security department they are open 24/7. It's actually a third party, and being through working with other banks and other credit unions, we all have the same features. This is a third party who monitors the transactions and cards for us. So the number that they give you is 24/7 for you to call and verify your transactions. Always remember though, they're going to be asking for it. Like if you're in Target and you just swiped your card, that text is going to be coming through. So it's not going to be for a transaction that happened 2 or 3 days ago. That's one way you can determine that it's fraud.
But if it wasn't, wouldn't it be fraud though if, well, I'm sorry, if I did not make the transaction and I got a text asking me about a transaction in Missouri, I know I didn't make it, but they're asking me to respond yes or no. My intuition prior to this call would have thought, don't respond because that's a scam.
No, that's
because
what
I know I'm not in Missouri.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It may be you didn't make it. That's just them. They're calling to make sure if you made it or not. It's legit. It is from the security department. They do send out text messages to verify the transactions if you have that feature. Now you can ask for you'll be surprised. Some people don't want to be text messaged to verify transactions, and they ask their credit union to opt them out. You can always opt out, but it is true. They do text you to verify transactions to make sure it's you. And if you respond back and say no, your card is immediately blocked.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Grant, I have a question. With my bank, every time I make a transaction, the bank will send me a notice. I wanted them to do that, and I put like $5 on there. If anything is over $5, they will send me a message. And if I say I didn't do it, then they will look into the matter. But I like that feature.
Yes, that is a feature that's actually a great feature, because it not only notifies you, well, if merchants take more than $5, it also notifies you if one of us inside of the bank do anything in your account for over $5. I had someone call before where I sent an email, or she had put in for a transfer and she forgot she put in the transfer money, and I made the transfer and it alerted her that I was in her account, and she contacted the credit union going off on me, wanting to know why was I in her account, but she forgot that she asked to have a transfer completed. So it's a good feature for merchants and anything coming out, but it's also a good feature for inside employees as well if we go into your account and do anything.
There is a follow-up question based on the response to Sora Brooks from Genevieve. Genevieve, would you like to state your question?
Yes, and just like Kathy, if I were contacted, I would ignore. In fact, this past week, I've been contacted by Amazon and PayPal telling me to click this link or we're going to shut your account down. And so, of course, I don't. I ignore. Now, I guess my question is, as it relates to the text messages from the bank, what exactly would prompt them to ask if this is me? Is it a certain limit, or what is it that would prompt them to send me an email or text message rather, asking if I'm involved in a action?
It's based
hello. This is Rhonda. I'm Missy on the thing, but I wanted to respond to Ms. Brooks and Geneva, the question. So I received a text message from, I'm with Navy Federal Credit Union. So I received a text message one day. I got up about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom, and I received a text message asking me, did I make a purchase? Did I book an airline, a flight? So of course, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, oh, this is a scam. So I said no. I responded no, but then, I just went back to sleep. But then like about 9 o'clock, Navy Federal called me. And, of course I answered the phone. So they was like, just verifying, making sure that it wasn't me. And I said, well, I let them know that I received a text message at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I said, of course, I'm thinking it was a scam or whatever. But they said that it's somebody that's watching your account 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
And depending on, where they are, West Coast, we have different timing. So they will send you a text. But if it's like Amazon or PayPal, don't respond, because most likely it is a scam, because I received those as well. But if it's your bank, most likely it's not a scam. It's just that they're on, different time frames, and they're just making sure that it's you or it's not you that's making, transactions within your account.
Right. And Rhonda is absolutely correct. Um, if you get a link from Amazon or a merchant, that more than likely, like as she stated, that is more than likely a scam. But your credit union or your bank, like she said, we monitor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No matter what time the transaction comes through, our job is to protect your funds and your accounts. So we are going to send you a message. The messages, what triggers the messages are unusual activity. We're your financial institution, so we know your normal and regular activity. So anything that stands outside of the norm, they're going to check for that. Also for the amount, if you don't normally make transactions $2,000 and $3,000 or even 500, if you don't normally make those large purchases, we're going to check and make sure that it's you. That's why it's always great if you're going to make a large purchase. It's great to contact and notify the credit union or the bank, and we can put a note on there so that you don't have to worry about getting the text and possibly missing it, and we block your card, and then now you're in the store and you calling us upset because your card is blocked. Because we wanted to verify transactions. We do get a lot of that. So if you're going to make a large purchase, just contact your financial institution or log in your online banking and send a secured email and let them know that you're going to be making a large transaction. Or if you're going to be traveling, we get that a lot. If you're going to be traveling, please let us know and have a travel note placed, because a lot of times people go out of town and they're trying to use their card, and then it brings a red flag to us because it's unusual activity, and we reach out to you, don't respond, and now we've blocked your card and you become upset with us. But it's all because we're protecting you. It's all for your protection and to protect your money so that you won't suffer any losses. We mean no harm in it.
Thank you. We have time for one more question, because I really want to. I want you to know that we respect your time. The last question that I'm going to throw out there from the chat room was, when you stop an auto pay setup yourself, does that negate the need to opt out?
If you stop the auto pay yourself, the merchant is supposed to notify the financial institution of the cancellation of your auto pay. That does not always happen. So there are times where transactions still go through and they're still updated because the merchant hasn't notified us. So it's up to your merchant to do their due diligence and notify your financial institution that you have canceled it. So opting out is really your choice, and I get basically your trust in your merchant. That when you do say you want to opt out, that they're going to cancel everything and you won't have any further issues. But again, if you don't want your information automatically sent to your merchants, just opt out of the feature, and whenever you get a new card or new card with a new expiration date, just contact, because it's a lot to contact all of your auto pay and update your card with everyone. So that's just up to you if you decide to um, keep the feature or not. Again, any other questions people may have, feel free to email me. My email is here. You can email me. I don't Yeah, you can email me. I'll respond back to you, no problem. If you're ever somewhere and you have an issue going on and you need some assistance with it, or you have some questions while you're in the store, reach out to me and I'll definitely respond.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ms. Grant. Thank you all for being part of our virtual workshop this morning. And it was a lot of great information. And I think we've all been enlightened in various ways that we didn't even think of when it comes to our finances. So thank you.
Yeah. If you were with me at the beginning, if you joined at the beginning, Kalia said this was her first speaking engagement. So I think she did incredibly well for her first engagement. I think we should all give her a hand.
Thank you.
Good job, Kalia.
Thank you.
Yes, we enjoyed it. Thank you.
Please take time and fill out the survey that we have in the chat room. The survey will also be emailed to you if you don't have enough time right now to do the survey, but it takes about 5 seconds to fill out. So please take time and fill out the survey. Thank you so much. Thank you all for participating in our workshop today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good day.
you.
Safe, everyone.
Thank you very much.
How do we get the survey, Jan?
It's in the chat. I can put it
Oh.
put it again if you want.
Oh, okay. I was going to.
And it will also, anyone who registered will put it in their email as well.
Oh, okay, great. It'll go to email. I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry.
I'm posting it again.
Oh, there you go.
The 8 of us that are
Thank you.
still here.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Sure.